What's up, Royals? Welcome to Tonetra's Garden. If you're new here, I'm Tonetra and you are in my garden. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a full garden tour of my very small backyard garden. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this video. So we're gonna start off right here in this area, and this little area is unique because it gets sun in the morning, and then when it starts to hit the afternoon, this area is shaded. So I just recently planted this new planter, which I love so much. I got that from the Dollar General. It was $10, and I put in there some vinca, a daylily, we have a sweet potato vine, and what is that? Is that coleus? Coleus in there. I had a creeping Jenny, but it wasn't doing well, so I popped it on out. It had some blooms. It's getting a little hot, but I think it'll perk back up. So in this container, we have sweet basil. It is doing lovely. It loves this area. Over here, I have my Dollar Tree stackables, and I finally figured out what grows well in there, and it is Swiss chard. If you are looking to grow something in stackables, I recommend doing Swiss chard, doing flowers, something like that. And then right down here, I keep this. I am propagating basil, so whenever I need basil somewhere, I'll just pop one of these out and plant it. So that's what that is. And I just keep these down here, and they do well. So moving over to this raised planter box, which was my grandmother's, I'm so happy to have it. I planted this thing up with, we've got some Space Master cucumbers here. I threw some of that basil that I was telling you about and popped it in here. So it's just now starting to grow. We have some vinca. We have some marigold that I took out from another raised bed because it wasn't doing so well. It needed a bit more shade, so I just popped it in here. This is a marigold. We have some basil back here. We have a marigold that's doing really well. And then we have our Roma tomatoes. And we have some tomatoes coming on. I'm so excited for those. So, this bed is doing pretty well. I can't wait until the Space Master cucumbers start to vine. It'll look really pretty. Let's move over to our garden desk. This is my garden desk, and what I do here is I do a lot of planting, potting, seed starting. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do in this area. I did build this desk myself, and I love it so much. I definitely want to build another one, probably a little bit different, but I love the size of this. It comes in handy, so I love that. What we have going on here is we have a beautiful rose. It's a pink rose. It's called the Chrysler Imperial. So it's not blooming right now because it's pretty hot outside, but it will start to bloom probably in the fall. We have a beautiful lavender that is flowering. This is my first year growing lavender, and I absolutely love the purple blooms on it. So I'll probably have to get some more lavender and pop it around the garden, maybe in some of my raised beds. I feel like that will look really pretty. So we have lavender here. Wonderful. And then over here we have planter box full of mint, some green onion, and then we have some spearmint. That's it for my garden desk. Now let's move over here to my seedlings. So I do have a few seedlings started over here. I have some zinnias and some marigolds. And I also started some roselle. This is my first time growing roselle this year, so I'm super excited for that. I have been seeing people growing it, and I was like, what is that plant? That is interesting. I have 6 roselle plants. I will probably have to donate some. And down here, I forgot about this. I propagated my grandmother's rose bush. So she passed away a couple years ago, and I have been trying to get this rose bush to, you know, take root. And finally this year I got it to take root. There are 2 plants in here and both of them are doing wonderful. So I'm excited for that. This is like, it's a maroon rose. It's a really pretty rose and it blooms a ton. So I am super excited to see that bloom probably next year. So moving on to my grow bag garden, I have a couple things here. What are these? These are Scotch bonnet peppers. I have 3 Scotch bonnets in 3 5-gallon grow bags. They are doing lovely. I am so excited to make some Jamaican cuisine with these Scotch bonnet peppers. So that is a very exciting new plant that I'm trying this year. We also have some jalapeno peppers here. 2 jalapeno peppers that are starting to flower. They're in these self-watering containers that I purchased from, no, I didn't purchase these. These were my grandmother's too. They're from the dollar store, Dollar General. You can find these grow bags on Amazon. I have them linked. But yeah, I'm really loving these planters. They really work well, keeping plants watered in very hot climates. So that's what we have in these 2 are jalapenos. And then back here, I'm doing a little experiment. So I have 2 burgundy okra plants. I put one in a 5-gallon grow bag and I put the other in, it's probably like a 7-gallon pot. And I'm just trying to see which one is going to do better this season. This one's a little bit taller, but they're both starting to set fruit, so I'm excited for some okra. And yeah, that's what we have down here in our containers. Now let's move up and go see what we have in our herb garden. So this raised metal container is my grandmother's as well. So I have a couple of her planting containers, planters. And what's in here is we have some rosemary, we have some chives back here. We've got thyme, we've got purple basil, we have some sweet basil, which I need to harvest because this is just getting out of control. A sunflower back here. We got some sage, it's on this other side, oregano, and we have a ton of parsley going on. So everything seems to be doing very well and growing nicely. And yeah, that is what's in my small herb garden. Smells so stinking good. And I have to get more into using my herbs, but that's what we've got. So we're gonna go ahead and work our way back to this side area where I have a trellis and a grow bag. All right, I think this is a, what is this? This might be a 15-gallon grow bag. In this grow bag, I have some purple hall beans lining the back area of this container. And then I have an Armenian cucumber and a Space Master cucumber. So I've got 2 cucumbers and about 6 bush beans here. And they seem to be liking this area. It gets plenty of shade during the morning, and afternoon it gets a good amount of sun, and then in the evening it gets shade from this wisteria that I have back here. So I think I have it in a good location for what it is. Cucumbers don't like just, you know, being beat by the sun, so they're doing wonderful in this location, and I'm super excited to see it fill up with beautiful cucumbers. Let's move on to this sunflower that we have right over here. So we have a beautiful sunflower here. OMG, when this sunflower was in bloom, it was so gorgeous. I'll put a picture in so that you can see, but I'm gonna save seeds from this, and you know, it's in the process of drying out. But here is another. Look how beautiful. So this one was just as beautiful as this, but bigger. Isn't that wonderful? And I forget the name of this sunflower. I'll put it up on the screen for you. But I will definitely be growing these again. and they're just in like a 5-gallon pot and doing beautifully. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you around to the other side of my garden where I have my raised bed and my son's raised bed, and it is gorgeous. But right here I'm being shaded by a wisteria plant, and I don't know how it got here. I think it's the neighbor's wisteria, but it has come over to my side. And let me show you something very cool. And she is very invasive, you guys. If you're gonna grow wisteria, make sure that you know exactly where you want it to vine and trail, because it will sprawl everywhere, but it is such good shade. But let me show you this. These are wisteria seeds. And last season, I had a couple of these hanging and I was letting them dry out. And I guess maybe one day there was a really bad storm or something and the seeds dropped. The pods dropped, and I don't know where they dropped, so I couldn't find them. But I'm hoping that this will stay on the vine for as long as it needs to, so that I can save the seeds for this. If anybody knows, when do you actually pull the seed from the plant? I think when it turns brown it's ready, but I'm not super sure. But I thought that was really cool. So we have made it to the other side of the garden, and look at the butterfly. OMG, look how glorious this is. This is actually my son's raised bed, and I kid you not, every year his raised bed just out flourishes mine for whatever reason. But look how beautiful this cucumber plant is doing. Look at the zinnias. They are just stunning. So over here I have a bunch of beta alpha cucumbers, and this is probably my favorite cucumber variety. It does really well, and it produces a ton. So if you're in the market for cucumbers, try this variety. It does wonderful. So that's what we have on this side. Now making our way over, we have a little bumblebee. To this side, these here are giant zinnias. I purposely planted the same color of zinnia just because I wanted a different look from last year. But look how gorgeous these zinnias are. They are loving their spot. So we have those here. Down here I have a teddy sunflower, which is starting to go to seed. So that's what we have down there. Right through here in this area, all of this vining stuff, this is cucamelon. And I have a few little cucamelons on there starting to, you know, grow. And I'm so excited to try cucamelons. I heard that they're like a pickle, like a cucumber, like in the middle. So that's exciting. And we'll work our way on to this other back side. All right, so we're on the other side of the trellis, and on this side of the trellis, there are a ton of cucamelons. Here we have, this whole part is midget melons. So this is my first year growing midget melons, or any kind of, you know, cantaloupe for that matter. And it's doing very well. We have a ton of cantaloupes on here. So I'm excited for those. That's another one of the exciting things. Okay, so this is melons. And then through here we have some, what are those? Oh, we have some yard long beans. So I planted yard long beans along here, and they're starting to flower right up here, and they have really pretty flowers. They almost look like pea flowers. So those are really pretty. I have those all along this side, and we should be getting some yard long beans very soon. So let's work our way this way. So what I love about small space gardening is you have to get very creative with things, and you have to be very mindful of your space and what you're going to grow and what's going to do good and give you the most bang for your buck. So in this side, I have 2 pepper plants. I have some jalapeno peppers in here. I have a beautiful sunflower going. And then in the middle of this bed, I have watermelon. I think it's crimson watermelon, the big variety, tucked right in the middle of this raised bed. And once this starts to vine out, I'm gonna have to get some type of something to hold the watermelon so that it's not on the ground. But yeah, that's all that I have tucked into this tiny raised bed, and everything is looking amazing, as you can see. I'm always proud of this raised bed. It just does very well. So let's go ahead and move on to my raised bed. It's just as good, but let's go ahead and check it out. So along this fence, I put my raised bed, and in my raised bed, I have, what is this? A Juliet tomato. I have 3 tomato plants here. This first plant is a Juliet. She is prolific. I love her to death. I will continue to grow the Juliet for years to come. A Sun Sugar, which is also a very good variety. Another Juliet on this side. So we have 2 Juliets, 1 Sun Sugar, and these are all cherry tomatoes or grape tomato. So I like growing cherry tomatoes because they do better in high temperatures, but cherry tomatoes are my jam. So we have those. Along here, all of these bushy plants down here are green beans, and I've actually already harvested most of the green beans off of here, but we do have one. Let's try it. Delicious. So that's what these are. Down here, I planted some green onion, and these green onion are from the supermarket, and they are doing so well. I will never buy green onion again. It's so easy to plant them. All you do is cut them, cut all the greens off, and plant the bottom part into the soil, and they just take off. So we have 3 green onion in here. We have some basil throughout, and the basil is looking really good. The basil actually really likes this spot. It's shaded by the tomato plants, so when you're growing basil, make sure it's like dappled sunlight. We've got a bunch of tomatoes coming on this Juliet plant. It's prolific. It always does good. We have a couple on this Sun Sugar, but we'll have more through the top. Okay, so we have, this is sweet basil, and then we have a purple basil. And then on this side, I did zinnias. So we just have a bunch of zinnias, just like the other ones that you saw. And is that it? I think that is it for this raised bed. So soon I'll be pulling out all of these green beans along here, and I'll probably be planting maybe some flowers or something. I did have marigolds in here, but they were shaded out. I only have 1 marigold plant right now, but I'll pop some more marigold in there, give it some more color. But look at these zinnias. They're just amazing. So zinnias there, and that is it for this larger raised bed. Let's move on to our hanging baskets. And last but not least, we have 2 gorgeous hanging baskets. These are hanging from the garage, and they are getting pretty much full sun all day with no shade, and they are doing wonderfully. I got these hanging baskets from Lowe's, and this is my 2nd season growing in these. Last season, I think I had some petunias in them, and they always do really well. This year, I have vinca in these hanging baskets. They love the sun, and they're growing actually pretty quickly. I don't water them that often. Vinca likes a drier, well-draining soil, so it's a good situation. I can't complain. I am excited to see them flourish. That is it. So that wraps it up for my small backyard garden tour. It is the end of May, so we're getting into the heat of summer, and we're gonna see how the garden does. I'll be coming to you with more garden tours next month. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing a bunch of things. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this tour as much as I did. If you like this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, Royals.